Writers, I was so excited last week to have your parents email me some of the work that you've done. And I know some of you even sent your letters to the people, and maybe you'll get a response for all your hard work trying to solve a problem. So I want to show a couple of the letters that I was sent. Here's one that Sebastian wrote. It's kind of like gray on the paper because that's just how it printed at my house. Sebastian wrote in a very important letter, Dear Governor, can you make laws to help animals? Thank you, Sebastian. Is helping animals important? Absolutely. He remembered to be polite and say thank you. He told us who it was to. He signed his name. Excellent work, Sebastian. Sive wrote this letter to Loretta. Dear Loretta, I wish we could have a play date, but we can't because of the virus. Sive started with a capital, and she capitalized Loretta. She used spaces. She did punctuation. Really neat handwriting too. Way to go, Sive. Hannah also wrote a letter to a friend. She wrote one to her friend Lucy. Look at all those words. Way to go, Hannah. And she started with a capital. Dear Lucy, I think we should get to touch each other, and I hope the coronavirus is over soon. Love, Hannah. The coronavirus is a big problem in the world right now. It's a good thing to write about. Antonio wrote about hand washing, which is always a problem, but now it's even a bigger problem if you don't do it. Dear people, please wash your hands after you go out somewhere. Ooh, and he did an or else you get sick. Love, Antonio. I love how he concluded an or else what will happen. And he did spaces. He talked about a problem. He signed his name. Super job, Antonio. Here's one from Mateo also to the governor. Remember, the governor's like the boss of California. Dear Governor, could you stop this COVID-19 because I want to see my friends. I am bored of this COVID-19. Mateo. Mateo, really great idea. He included a picture too, and he did spaces, and I think we all probably feel like Mateo does. We wish it could be over. So sometimes writing about the problem can make you feel better, and maybe something will happen if you write a letter to somebody about it. Maybe they can help you. Super job, and I know lots of others are busy writing letters too. You can send them to me if you want. Remember that Earth Day was last week? We read one book about the Earth, and I did talk about writing about things that are happening on the Earth. COVID-19 is a problem that's happening throughout our whole Earth, so some of you are doing that. But I wanted to read this book. It shows things that are beautiful on Earth, and it also does talk about some problems. So after we read this book, I'm going to give you some ideas about problems to help the Earth. So that's going to be our focus today. It's called The Earth Book by Todd Parr. There's a picture of our Earth, the Earth Book. I take care of the Earth because I know I can do little things every day to make a big difference. So here are things, these are like fix-its. These are ways to solve the problem, to help take care of the Earth. I use both sides of the paper. That's what we did like every day at the Artist Center. Remember, like there would be something on one side and then we'd flip it over and use the other one. And bring my own bags to the market because I love the trees. And I want the owls to have a place to live. So they're trying to not use as many paper bags that come from trees. then that would have an impact on the owls. I turn off the faucet while I brush my teeth and use less water for my baths because I love the fish and I want the oceans to stay blue. So one of the reasons I like this book is because it talks about fix-its and it talks about how the fix-its will help. I take the school bus and ride my bike because I love the stars and I want the air to be clear so I can see them sparkle. Probably so we can have clean air to breathe too, right? I try to eat every bite on my plate and save my leftovers because I love watching things grow and I want there to be enough food for everyone. Wow, they have a nice garden. I remember to turn off the lights and shut the refrigerator to save energy because I love the polar bears. And I want the snowmen to stay cool. I throw garbage in the trash can and recycle glass, aluminum, paper, and plastic because I love to walk barefoot in the grass. And I don't want to move to Mars. No way! Most of all, I help take care of the earth because, and look, see there's those 3 periods. It's called an ellipsis. That means it's finishing on the next page. I want us all to be happy and healthy. The end. And on the back it says, we can all help protect the earth and make it feel good. If we take care of it, it will take care of us. And you already do a lot of these things, and obviously we want to make sure that we are really taking care of the earth. We know we only have one. So, oh, and it's perfect that the Lorax is on here. He really wanted to take care of the earth. So we just read about a problem. We could like see the problem in our mind. We're going to think about how to solve it. We're going to write, and we're going to show that we care a lot. So last week we talked all about writing letters, and that's one way that you can write about a problem. But I'm going to take us back to kind of like the beginning of this opinion unit when we weren't just writing letters. You could make a poster. You could make a book. I kind of talked about like a speech. I wrote a speech that I wanted to give and like do it in assembly or maybe just say over the loudspeaker that goes into all of the classrooms. Another thing that you could do, you probably have not heard this word before, but there's something called a petition. A petition is something that people who want to solve problems do. They write what the problem is and how they want to solve it, and then they ask people, do you agree with me? Will you sign my petition if you agree? So you could ask people in your home to sign your petition. Otherwise, today, you get to do a poster or a book or a sign or a speech. Or if you want to write another letter, you can. So today, it's up to you. So some of the problems that I just saw in that book, there was garbage everywhere. They were talking about how we can clean up garbage. They talked about not wasting paper, using both sides. They talked about not wasting water, like turning it off when you're brushing your teeth or shaving. We've talked about that. We've talked about, oh, riding the bus or biking so that you don't use your car as much and put pollution into the air. I'm going to talk about riding bikes. So I'm going to say, here's like what a petition would look like. I'm going to say, well, first I better think before I start writing. I think people should ride their bikes and not drive as much. What do you think about that? I think people should not. I think people should ride their bikes and not drive as much. So that's what I'm going to write. And then maybe I'll say it will help the air be clean. And then I'll say Melissa Werner. And then I'll take it around and I'll say, Marco, do you agree with this? He's like the only person that lives here, so that's the only person I'm going to ask. And I'm going to say, if you agree, write your name under mine. Oh, I know. I could ask Cloud. Cloud, do you agree? Should people bike more and use their car less? And I could help Cloud write his name. You could ask your stuffies and write them. So a petition is another way that people write to get their ideas about fixing problems into the world. But it's your choice today. You pick a problem, maybe about the earth. That's kind of what I'm going for today. But if something else is on your mind, you can write about that. A sign, a book, a speech, a letter, a poster, a petition. It's up to you. Okay? Remember to activate all your superpowers.